Hello, everybody. It is Sunday, September 28th, and welcome back to the Nick Watkins Show. I'm Nick Watkins. Let's get into it. There's a lot to talk about today. It is a very busy Sunday. It is week 4 of the NFL season, and it is game 162 of the MLB regular season, the final day of the regular season for a lot of teams, including the Giants. So we'll start with them from the game yesterday, which I was at. Justin Verlander finally got a win in one of his quality starts. Um, he was good. He went 6 innings, struck out 7, gave up 2 runs on 5 hits, and well, the Giants almost blew it. Walker almost blew it again for Verlander. It's happened a couple times this year, and he almost did it again. The bases were, I believe, loaded with 1 out, and they had to bring in Spencer Bivens, who got a strikeout and then got a pop up to Matt Chapman, who made a great play on the netting on the foul line, in foul territory rather. He reached up into the netting and he caught it like Matt Chapman does. He's a you know, Gold Glove third baseman. That's why he's the best, is he makes those great plays. So Bivens got the save. Great job from him coming into a very tough situation. And then Kyle Freeland got the loss. He's 5-17, and that was nice to give him a loss after what happened in Colorado last time, the whole fight. Casey Schmidt hit a 3-run homer, and Rafi Devers also had an RBI. The bullpen, aside from Walker, was very good with Peguero. He had a nice inning. He only threw 9 pitches and got 1 inning pitch, and then Beck threw, I think, 7 pitches. So yeah, 7 pitches, and he got a 1-2-3 inning. So nice job from those two, and the offense could have been better, but a solid win for the Giants. Anyway, what else happened around the league in baseball yesterday? So the Guardians and the Tigers both won. The Guardians on a walk-off hit by pitch beat the Rangers 3-2, and the Tigers beat the Red Sox 2-1, which means that both of those teams have clinched the playoffs. And now there is still a lot at stake for those two teams, and we'll get into that. The Mets beat the Marlins 5-0, and the Reds beat the Brewers 7-4, which means that there's no change in the NL wild card for the last spot. And that is what happened in playoff significance yesterday. Also, the Chicago Cubs won against the Cardinals and clinched. Well, they didn't necessarily clinch, they already clinched, but now we know for sure that one of the wild card series is going to be Cubs Padres, and it's going to be at Wrigley. So that's interesting. Now, what's at stake today? There's a lot that could go down today, that could shake up the playoffs rather. There's a lot that's going to go on today. We'll start in the American League Central, where the Guardians are going up against the Rangers, and the Tigers are going up against the Red Sox. Now, Skubal, the best pitcher for the Tigers, was supposed to start today, but they scratched him so he could pitch in the wild card. So what that means is the Tigers are saying, since the Guardians have the tiebreaker, they are not going all in trying to win the division. They're basically saying, whatever happens, happens, and we're gonna start Skubal in the playoffs. So that's the strategy that they're going for. Basically, whoever wins today gets home field advantage for the series, because we know it's going to be Tigers and Guardians. So based on the Skubal scratch, it's pretty much going to be Tigers Guardians for a wild card series. But whoever comes out on top, whoever wins the division, will have the home field advantage for the series. So if the Guardians win, then if both teams win and both teams lose, then the Guardians would win the Central, and they would come back down 15 and a half games, which would be the largest comeback ever in MLB history for a division. But if the Tigers were to win and the Guardians were to lose, that's the only outcome where the Tigers would win the division and they would have the 3 seed. And it also looks like the Red Sox are going to be going to the runner-up in the AL East, and let's get to that. It's either going to be the Yankees who play the Orioles at home or the Blue Jays who play the Rays at home. The Blue Jays have the tiebreaker in that head-to-head matchup. So it's the same scenario. If it's a win-win or a loss-loss, then the Blue Jays win the East. But if the Blue Jays were to lose to Tampa Bay and the Yankees beat the Orioles, then the Yankees would win the division. They would be the 1 seed. And that's what's going to happen in the American League. For the National League, however, it's basically all locked up, 1 through 5, except for the 6th seed, which has been wild coming down the stretch. And this is what the outcomes could be. The Reds hold the tiebreaker over the Mets in the head-to-head matchup. So if it's a win-win or a loss-loss, the Reds make the playoffs, and the Mets will have choked away a big lead in the wild card. But if the Reds were to lose to the Brewers and the Mets beat the Marlins, then the Mets would make the playoffs. And honestly, that scenario is not that crazy because the Brewers are, record-wise, the best team in baseball, and the Marlins are they're going to be good in the future, but not right now. But we did say that going into the series on Friday before everything happened, but the Mets lost, and now here we are with the Reds having the advantage. So if the Reds win the game, sweep the Brewers, or if the Mets lose and the Reds make the playoffs, which would be crushing for the Mets. So that's what's happening for baseball. Game 162 for the Giants. It's going to be Logan Webb, who is it's at 3 innings pitched, or let's double check that. He needs 3 2/3 innings pitched or actually, he needs 4 innings pitched to be the league leader in innings pitched for the entire year. So that's why he's starting today. He could just say, nah, I'm good, just wait till next year. But he's going today. He is trying to lead the league in innings pitched, which would be a great milestone for him. And Webby's had a great year. Great year. He's racking up the strikeouts. He's 3rd in the league in strikeouts. And he could be 1st in innings pitched. So great year from Logan Webb. And then McCade Brown looks like he's going to get the start for the Rockies. So the final day of the regular season is here. Obviously, it did not end the way we wanted it to, but with a win today, we can be 81-81, which is not really an accomplishment, but whatever. So that's the exciting stuff from baseball. And we have not even touched football yet. Let's talk about that. So there's already a game going on right now as I'm recording this. The Steelers and the Vikings playing in Ireland, the first ever NFL game in Ireland. And the Steelers are currently winning that game. We'll see how that shakes up and finishes. But as for the 49ers, Brock Purdy makes his return to the field. He's going to be the starter today. And the Niners, 3-0, host Jacksonville for the first time since 2017 when Brock Purdy was, I believe, in high school. So it's been a while. And I'm going to be at the game today. I was at the Giants game yesterday, going to Niner games today. Very fortunate, very blessed for this opportunity. Shout out to Cousin Gary for the tickets. And let's just talk about what I think are going to be the keys to the game. And I think the pass rush is going to be important to see how we look without Nick Bosa. It's a huge loss, and we're looking for a step up from Bryce Huff, who's the veteran on that line, and also all the rookies to see if they can. They obviously can't fill Bosa's shoes because he's such a big part of the team, but at least step up and play a bigger role. Looking at Michael Williams to have a good game today. And also against the Jacksonville team that forced us a lot of turnovers, they are first in the league in takeaways on defense. And the thing that I've always noticed with Brock Purdy, especially when he was younger and just coming in, is if he doesn't turn the ball over, then things go great. And if he does, then it's kind of 50-50 if we're going to win. We have won games where he's thrown interceptions, but it's a lot easier when you don't turn the ball over. So limit the turnovers against a very good takeaway defense, and the pass rush has got to get to Trevor Lawrence and make him uncomfortable, confuse him a little bit. And if we can do those things, I think it's going to be a great game for the 49ers. Looking at them improve to 4-0 before we head to Thursday night against the Rams. And there's a lot of good games going around the league today. You have the Eagles and the Buccaneers, two undefeated teams squaring off at 10 Pacific. And then the Colts and the Rams in the afternoon, the later afternoon games, 3-0 versus 2-1. And then the 1-2 teams that are going to be going at it later is the Ravens and the Chiefs, who are good teams, but the records don't show that. So it's going to be a good matchup, I think, there. And the juicy game from today is on Sunday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Micah Parsons' return to Big D. It's going to be a crazy atmosphere, and I expect him to have a monster game against his old team. There's so much drama in that game. It's going to be super exciting, and it's going to be a great day for baseball and football. We're going to talk about what happens tomorrow. That is for today. The Giants play, and the 49ers play against the Jaguars. And let's just wrap this up with a score prediction. I think it's going to be 20-13, 49ers, improve to 4-0. Let's do it. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.